In Think Mathematics, every lesson begins with an anchor task. An anchor task is a task that Joe Bowler might have described as a low-floor, high-ceiling task. A low-floor task that is accessible even for the weaker students in the class, and high-ceiling because even the most advanced learners continue to receive challenge in that task. In Think Mathematics, anchor tasks are designed to be low-floor, high-ceiling tasks. For example, in the lesson on adding three numbers, the students are given a situation where the total number of flowers is 12. It's low floor because any child, through the use of concrete materials such as 10 frames, would be able to figure out the answer simply by counting all, maybe counting on. And yet other students who are more able might use more advanced strategies such as making 10. And the most advanced learners would say things like, oh, I might be able to put the same number of flowers in all the three containers, alluding to the multiplicative structures. And yet others would say, I might not need to use all the three containers, just two will do, where I put 6 flowers in one and 6 flowers in the other, using double, which is also a multiplicative situation. And that might prompt other students to think about 4 groups of 3, 6 groups of 2s. So it is high ceiling because even in a lesson on addition, the more able students are encouraged to provide opportunities with concepts that they are going to learn at a higher level, in this case, multiplication. Low floor because every child can begin by simply counting, and high ceiling because if they are ready for it, they get to learn about multiplication. Another example of a low floor, high ceiling task, which is a characteristic of anchor tasks in Think Mathematics, is in this lesson on adding one-digit numbers. Students are provided with single-digit numbers 1 through 9 and asked to make a total of 15. As you can see, it has a low floor because a beginner might solve the problem by picking 2 numbers and say, here, these 2 numbers make 15. And the more able students might be encouraged to use 3 numbers to make 15. And the more advanced learners might begin to pick 5 numbers or even question themselves as prompted by the friend in the book. Is it possible to pick 6 numbers? So it is high ceiling because the more able students are challenged to think whether it is possible to use any number of numbers to make 15. In most of the anchor tasks in Think Mathematics, solutions are accessible even to the most struggling learners in the classroom. For example, in this lesson on learning half, any student would be able to use pieces of paper like that and get the simplest solution, such as folding the paper into 2 rectangles or 2 triangles. However, the more advanced learners continue to have opportunities to come up with interesting shapes, such as this one or this one. And they may even eventually come up with solutions where the 2 shapes are not congruent and be able to appreciate that halves do not need to be congruent shape. In Think Mathematics, anchor tasks are low floor, high ceiling tasks because even the beginners in the class are able to come up with some solution. And yet, the more advanced learners continue to have opportunities to explore more interesting, more unusual, and more challenging solutions.